to me, the presentation of the Stanley Cup is the greatest celebration in sports.
I would agree with that.
I will always try to watch that, whether I've watched the game. If I don't watch the clinching game, I'll go on YouTube. But there's just something so amazing about these guys getting the best trophy in sport and just skating around each member of the team, from the captain to it seems like the team accountant gets to like hold that trophy up. And it's just, like I said, early in my life, I got to watch the Pittsburgh Penguins do it. And that was when it really started to captivate me, seeing Lemieux and Yager and those guys. But like that moment, just NBA, Major League Baseball, call it, nothing to me personally can compare to that Stanley Cup and getting that. And those guys just skating around, hoisting that 37-pound, like, just the most beautiful trophy.
It's the biggest
sports.
trophy. And there's only one.
There's only one.
There's 50-odd Lombardi trophies out there. Mm-hmm. There's all these World Series. You got the one cup.
You got the one cup.
You know what I always wonder? Because everybody gets their day with the Stanley Cup. Mm-hmm. And, you saw last night, I think it was Mark Stone had his baby. One of the players on the Knights had their baby, like, in the cup. And that there's been hundreds of other babies in that cup. And there have been probably thousands of people have been like, we're going to drink out of the cup.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I'd feel comfortable at this point drinking out of the Stanley Cup.
Well, I'm sure it ggets sanitized.
Everybody's doing different stuff to it. Like, it would remind me of, like back in like in my college days, where you'd have like, we had the kegerator in the apartment.
Yeah, kegerator.
And those like tubes that have probably been in there for 10 years through 10 different people who lived in that same apartment are just nasty, and there's like stuff coming with the beer out of the keg. It's already bad enough. It's some light beer that was a $59 keg on special because it's expired, and you're just like, hey, who cares? We're playing Beirut tonight. But like, that's what I imagine it's like. It's got to be. I understand it's a wonderful trophy, but it's got to be slightly gross. There's no way it's not.
You got to think of just the thousands of miles that things traveled. I know, speaking of the Pens, I know that thing ended up in the bottom of Mario Lemieux's pool once. I mean, you can imagine the amount of food and liquid that have been eaten out of that thing.
I feel like chlorine would be bad for an all-metal trophy.
But yeah, sterling silver. Yeah, the silver chalice. Phil Pritchard is the keeper of the cup, so that guy's probably seen some things.
Like, he should write. You want to talk about someone who needs to write a book?
Now, there's a job.
That guy should write a book, but he probably can't even speak on some of the stuff that he's seen.
So he just, how do you transfer it around? Like, there's no way Phil Pritchard's just driving it across multiple countries.
There's a massive case for it.
Right.
Maybe he drives it. Maybe they fly.
But, like,
places.
you can't check it, right? Like, can you give it to the SkyCap guy outside the airport? Just, hey, this is it.
Don't worry about it.
They keep putting the heavy tag on it.
You just make sure you slip them like a 20 or a 50 just to make sure it makes the flight.
No,
I would think you have to be able to bring it on the plane. Like, you might have to get like a second seat for it, right?
That flies first class for sure.
I'm sure there's got to be stories out there about this.
Yeah, I would love. I don't think I've ever actually seen it.
Me neither.
In person, I would love to see that thing.
I've seen it. It's been.
But I know people have eaten ice cream out of that and cereal.
Again,
and,
so you've got one.
A big bowl of frosted flakes out of the Stanley Cup.
To go back to like the college dorm, college apartment thing. So imagine if there was one bowl that everybody, or one cup that everybody ate or drank out of for an entire year. That's the Stanley Cup.
That was kind of like, I had this cup in college, right? I had two roommates that were from Nebraska, and like had one of these 7-Eleven cups that I loved. And I swear that cup was used for me drinking Pepsi and my roommate Mark to chew spit into that I have to constantly wash out. But you're 21 years old. You're 20 years old. Like, your immune system is fine.
Just so we can have this clear, Tom. If you had the opportunity to drink a beer out of the cup, you wouldn't do it?
I would have some serious reservations about doing that. I'd want to talk to Phil Pritchard and find out the full sanitization process, what has gone into this, who else has been. I mean, I won't go up for communion. I don't want to drink. I'm not drinking out of that thing. Not much less something that's been for 100 and however many years getting passed around and having God knows what done to it.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.